So good morning. Welcome to this webinar. We're going to have a look at no-code development and GW apps. So we'll briefly discuss what no-code is, some suitable use cases, just to give you a demonstration and hopefully answer any questions you might have. So, why are people looking at things like no-code solutions? Well, a lot of people still have unautomated business processes. Or they're using an outdated system, or they're using a simple system that was okay when they first started, like Google Forms, which is excellent, but clearly it's limited. And they need something better, or they need something. And traditional development, it's too complicated. You need too many resources. But no code often allows the business process owner to do the work themselves. And also it's much faster and hence much cheaper. So it allows you to automate things for which there isn't an ROI on a more traditional development path. So the way you can get no code is that we basically, if you look at business applications, they kind of have similar repeating patterns. Business applications are usually based around forms. So we have an intelligent form builder. They often have workflow. Workflow is quantifiable. So again, we have a workflow builder. We need to have security, but role-based security. So this kind of person can do this kind of person can do that. It's well known and understood. So again, we can have builders for that. And views and reports, again, they follow kind of similar patterns. So it's possible to have builders that let you create those kinds of things in your applications without the need to code. So let's have a look at it. So and by the way, feel free to ask questions at any time. I might finish my sentence or so if I might not notice, but feel free to ask questions anytime. So when you log into GW Apps, you get a dashboard of all the applications you personally have access to. And I've got a lot because I'm the product manager for GW Apps, and I've built a lot of applications for other clients and stuff. But these applications give you a good idea of the kinds of things that GW Apps is good for. Contract management, asset management, employee onboarding, financial transaction tracking, time off, time tracking application. So back-end business process approval, workflow kinds of applications are the things that no-code platforms and GW apps really excel at. So if you want to create a new app, we've got three ways to do it. We actually have a list of templates that we built, common applications we'd seen over the 20 or 30 years that our team have been building applications for people. And also even, somebody had an application, we thought that's a good idea, and we just made a brand new generic version. So if your application, the thing you want to do, your business process, is an expense report or contract management or similar to that, you could start from that. If you're trying to migrate from something like Google Forms, so you have forms already on a different platform like Google Forms, Forms Experience Builder, any one of a number of platforms, you can normally export that information to a spreadsheet. And using this process, you can actually import all that information and the system will build the application for you, at least the forms and the first view, and it will bring in all of the data. So if you already have an existing application that maybe it's reached its lifetime or it just doesn't have some features that you need, you can import that and have the starter application built for you. But I'm just going to build something from scratch just to give you an idea. So there we go. I've just created an application, but obviously it's basically empty. It has created a form for me, which is empty because it just doesn't know what I want in my application. And this is where the magic of no code comes in. So on the left here, I've got a list of all the things I can drag and add to my form. So we've got fields. So let me decide I'll have a 2-column layout just because that allows me to put more on them. So I'm going to put a text field down, a number field down, and a list selection, just for 3 examples. And see, I've now got 3 fields on my form. All I did is drag and drop them, but obviously I don't want my text field called text. So I can give it a new name. My number field I'll call how many. And this one is going to be different. There we go. Now I have 3 fields on my form, and I can drag them around. If I don't like the order they're in, I can grab them and drag them around. Now, obviously, I might want to have more than, to set more than just their names, and I can do that. So for anything I'm pointing at, there's a little properties that open up, and here I can do all the things that would often take programming. I can have a default value. I can put validation in, so it only allows, for example, as this is text, minimum number of characters, minimum maximum value for numbers, or minimum maximum date range for dates, those kinds of things. So I can validate the data, and I can choose from formatting options, and there's various advanced features for many of the fields. So this allows me to do all the detailed business process sort of mapping and building the form so that it reacts the way you want, displays the way you would like, but again, all without needing to code anything, because this is a no-code platform. So let me save that form. So I can actually now launch my application. So here it is. Here's my form. Numbers in here. This one, it's just because I didn't set the values, it's just got the default values of option 1, 2, and 3, but you can see it's a pick from list. There you go, I've got a functioning form. And if I submit that record, I can go to my view, and here is my record. So these, we call them views. These are how you do your sort of basic reporting. So you can have as many different views as you like, and you can sort them by any of the fields that are on your application. And if there are number fields, you can do totaling, which I'll show you in a second. I'll just pause for a second to see if you have any questions. Okay. So building a form, you've seen how quick and easy it is. Obviously, I didn't build a form with many features, but the basic process, no matter how big and complicated the form or the application you're trying to build, the process is just the same. You drag and drop the controls that you need on your form, and then you just go to the properties and you configure it the way you want. So let's look at the kinds of things that you can do. Whoops, sorry, wrong app. So here's an example of an app, and what I want to bring you to this app show you is an example of a well-built view that's useful for reporting. So you can see here that I've got my records grouped up or categorized, and I've got my hours here totaled, so I can drill down, so I can find out how much work was done. This is a time tracking application, so how much time was done for this application, for this year, for this month, and by, and then down to the detailed records and details. So this allows me to do basic reporting. How many sales prospects do we have in this region in this month? How many of product X did we ship to this region in this month? Those kinds of things. So things that you would often have to run a report for. So the common, most frequent questions that your application users would have to answer, you build a view for that. So the core reporting, the most common reporting that you need to do with your application, can be built right in. And as you can see, we can have it sorted and categorized by any, all the different fields that we have. Sorry, pardon me. So one of the other things that that we've done recently is we actually have we built a COVID tracking application for schools. So we actually have one or more schools using our COVID tracking application. And let me see if I've got it. But one of the things that's good about that is the platform allows for what we call anonymous access, or it allows people who don't have, if you like, a paid license to access the system. So all of the students, or for the younger students, the parents of the students, they can all connect to the application, go through some simple authentication to prove who they are, and they can enter new records in the system and look at existing records in the system without having to be a full paid licensed user. So we have, for example, some property management companies using the platform, and they have 6,000 tenants. All those 6,000 tenants can interact with the platform without you having to have a paid license for those people. So there are ways that you can use this with as broad a reach as something like Google Forms has, but obviously with much better. Let me go back to the time tracker, just show you quickly. Sorry, there we go. With a much richer selection of available fields and properties that you can set for them. Real proper workflow. I won't go into the details of how, but you can have as many workflow stages with as many different sort of action buttons, so workflow actions that people can take, and a very detailed security model right down to the field level, which is obviously something simpler systems like Google Forms can't do. So you get a lot of the simplicity of something like Google Forms, where you just drag and drop the fields and set the properties, but it goes a lot deeper. It has a lot more features and a lot more capabilities, but you can still use it to reach a big, broad, non-licensed audience like you can with something like Google Forms. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a comment, Richard. We have a couple of people from HR, so maybe you can look at the application that like HR Guidebook and employee onboarding just cover the high level of the kind of application can be applied.
Yeah. So this is actually one of our templates, the employee onboarding. So obviously, many companies have a full HR system, obviously, to manage the people who are on staff, but that's often a little overkill, pardon me, for the part of the process where you're reaching out to people the first time and sort of interviewing them, and also not all HR systems allow you to track the standard onboarding steps that you would like all new sort of employees to start. So we wrote this application to cover that sort of functionality, but also for smaller organizations who just don't have a proper HR system. Even they could use that too. So you can track. Obviously, you can look at candidates who are applying for jobs. You can define skills that you're interested in this list. So you can define job skills that you're interested in, which people can then obviously say, yes, I have that particular skill. You can define the particular onboarding steps that you want and when they should happen, whether they happen before the person sort of arrives even, or first week, or later on. And then when somebody applies for a job, or you've sent in their resume, you can put in the key information in here, even attach their PDF of their resume to the record and list the skills that they've got. And then you can search for people by skills, and then when you actually have them onboarding, you can track them through all of those predefined onboarding steps. So you can make sure that everybody gets and signs the HR guidebook, and everybody gets the information packet, everybody gets their parking space assigned, or the appropriate people, all those kinds of steps. And the good thing, of course, with anything that you build on this platform, if it comes from a template or you've built it by importing the data, you're not stuck with the way you have it now. All of the design of this, the information that you're taking in, the workflow that it follows, the statuses that you have, all of these things, they're available for you to change because this is a no-code development platform. You can always take anything that, one of the templates or anything you've got and very quickly and easily change it. That's one of the things that our clients actually like the most. It's not just the speed with which you can build an initial application, it's how easy it is to keep it developing and changing when you get feedback from your users or your business process changes. Maybe, new HR policies come in that change the way you want to do this. It's very quick and easy to change the application to meet the process that you have daily or weekly basis. You don't get stuck with an application that doesn't match your current needs and have to sort of work around the application that you've got. It's so quick and easy to change. They can always make sure that the application matches the business process and the needs that you have right now. So anyway, that was employee onboarding. Like I said, we had a timesheets thing, so we track time in here. Obviously not necessarily applicable to sort of workshop time tracking, but if you have people working sort of project hours and you need to track that against a project or a billing code, it's easy to do that. What was the other one you mentioned, Henry?
Well, I mentioned HR Guidebook.
Which, actually, I don't think I have HR Guidebook on my page. I don't know that I have access to HR Guidebook.
Yeah, I just mentioned the purpose of the application.
Yeah, so the HR Guidebook, it's what it says. It's just an electronic version of a standard HR Guidebook with the policies and procedures that employees should understand in order to interact properly with the company, request things, get the support they need, fill in the required paperwork. Those are usually published as a physical book, which is fine, or even as a PDF. But if you break it down into an application, you get greater searchability. You can structure it, break it down into very digestible small chunks that are easy to sort of cross-reference and find. And you can even have different parts of the guidebook visible by different people. For example, people who work in R&D could have an extra section in the guidebook that's applicable to them. People who work in sales could have a section that's applicable to them. And people who aren't in those departments or divisions wouldn't see it. Not that it's secret, but they don't need to know that stuff. If it's there in the guidebook, and everybody gets to see it, then people have to work out which bits apply to them. Building that into to GW apps allows you to have the content targeted to the right people, see only the things they need to see, clears the clutter out, keeps them focused on the information that's relevant to them and their job position.
So one more comment, Richard. We also have a couple of people from schools, and we've had requests from school to build application to better manage the software that is used in-house. So they keep track of what software they have, how many licenses they have, what are they renewed, what are they renewed for, So also, or a way to, when a teacher wants to submit a request to purchase the software, they can go in there and see if they already have it, if they're licensed for it, or put a request to purchase it and then get it approved.
So we have no, go on, sorry, Henny.
So I wasn't sure if you have that template in there.
I'm showing it right now.
Okay.
So we have, as one of the templates, an IT asset management, which allows you to track, existing hardware and software. And for software, if there's a monthly recurring sort of licensing fee or a yearly, so some kind of recurring licensing that you need to deal with. So here, recurring month, so coming ahead. For example, here, this is my software with recurring things, so I know in April and November there'll be licensing I'll have to pay, so it's easy to keep track of it. We have another application. We have a couple of applications for sort of requests of things. So we have the financial financial transaction request, but also we haven't finished it, so I can't show it to you. But we do have a detailed IT purchasing approval template that we're completing that has multiple steps of approval. So the sort of the CIO or the senior manager can sort of approve things immediately and quickly, but if necessary, things can go to an approval committee, which is certainly common in local government and sort of school and other sort of organizations, and even in commercial commercial companies. So we have that will be ready very shortly. I don't think I actually have it on my desktop, but so we have templates for managing assets and for purchasing assets, or putting in requests to be allowed to purchase things. Time tracking, vacation requests.
Let's wrap it up, Richard.
Sure.
Just want to again advise the attendee that the best way to find out if this works for you is to just go and initiate a free trial. We provide you support while you're testing the application. We can work with you to build your first application. So we'd love to have you give it a shot. That's the best way to find out if there's a fit for you or not, and whether it helps you build the application. Our mission is to provide small and medium-sized businesses with an easy way to build web application and do it faster and a lot cheaper than other methods. So that's all I want to add. I think we can thank the audience for attending, and reach out to us. I would love to work with you and help you build some application.
Yeah, thank you very much for attending, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks very much.